Hey everyone, let's talk about Saga. So, this is the first in a series of videos in which we are going to review the entire current Saga run, which is 72 issues. This video specifically is going to focus on issues 1 through 18, which makes up the first compendium. And then every Friday after this, for the next several weeks, we're going to be looking at the additional issues, reviewing those until we get to the end and we can provide a full and proper review of the series. One thing to be said before we get started, there will be spoilers in this video. There's not going to be anything crazy, but if you're looking to dive into this series fresh, you might want to wait to watch this video, but please do come back and join the discussion. So, one of the things that I have to say, first and foremost, is that my anticipation for this series is completely massive. This is one of the most recommended series when I was getting back into comics last year that everyone said that I had to read. So, the stakes are really high for this review for sure. And spoiler alert, I definitely am enjoying it. So, let's dive into it. One of the things that's worth mentioning first and foremost is how unbelievably easy it is to read this story. It is deep and rich and complex and multifaceted in every way, shape, or form, but it doesn't feel like that when you are reading it. And so this is one of those things in which I'm reading issue to issue, page by page. I'm kind of realizing that something special is happening here. It gives me the same type of feeling of, when I first watched Game of Thrones. I could tell that this was going to be something really great, and the level of excitement kind of going into it from this point is just crazy. So I can't wait to dive into more of it. More specifically, let's talk about a few things, and we can start with the story. So, it is worth mentioning that the overall story and the way that it's structured from the beginning is not something that's terribly unique and groundbreaking. And what I mean by that is you have a story that's centered around two different types of people and two nations that are at war with each other. And two of those individuals, which are two of the main characters, Alana and Marco, they have found themselves falling in love against all odds. And in fact, they end up having a child together. And so this story really follows their struggles as they try to figure out how they can make this work when it really should not, because their nations are at war. And so, again, this is a traditional story mechanism or trope, if you will, that has been tried and true. But I would not say that that's a negative here. And the reason for that is because of how unbelievably layered these characters and the story and just all facets of this are. And so, yes, it follows a pre existing story idea, but it does so in such a top notch way that I would not let that deter you in any way, shape, or form. Let's talk about the characters next. Holy crap, the characters. They are all so good. I absolutely love them all. The main characters are fantastic, and the way that they are written is just incredible. You know that they're in love. You can read through the story and what's being told that they are indeed in love, but you actually pick up on the chemistry that they have in just the best way possible. I found myself, smiling as I'm reading because the way that they interact with each other, the humor that they have between each other is just really great. And the writer, Brian K. Vaughan, has really just done a fantastic job of portraying that page to page. And even the characters that I might not care for as much, which actually there are none because they're great. But if you take a look at like some of the villains, for example, characters that you're supposed to maybe not like as much, I do. They're genuinely interesting, and I cannot wait to learn more about them. And something we'll talk about a little bit later is how varied the characters are, the different types of creatures and humanoids and things that there are. They're all very interesting, and you find yourself wanting to learn more and more about them as things go on. In addition to that, I think it's worth mentioning that perhaps the main character, who is Hazel, which is the baby, um, kind of does a narration throughout the story, at least these first 18 issues. And it adds such a cool dynamic because really this story revolves around Hazel and her survival and her parents, and what are all of the people who have played a role in allowing this character to move forward. And so I thought that was a really cool way to add in a character, even when they are a baby and don't have any way to kind of speak for themselves. They're kind of retelling things from the past. One of the things that is absolutely amazing with this series is the pacing. Um, they have done such an amazing job with it. I have not been bored for even 1 second. Every single issue, every panel is engaging, captivating, and even when you have doses of heavy lore, a lot of action, a lot of backstory, it does not feel bad. Not once, at least in these first 18 issues. If they can keep this up, it's just going to be incredible. And, one of the things that I would call out that really is kind of a testament to how well this is written is after reading so many indie books, there are definitely issues to where you are like, hey, this issue was really slow from a backstory perspective, or I understand there needed to be some character development, so it was a little bit slower. Hopefully, in next issue, they pick things up. Or you might have some issues that are like super action packed. That doesn't happen here. You have some issues that are more action packed or that may have a little bit more backstory, but it is written in a way in which you don't feel that that's the only thing that's going on. And in fact, some of the issues are really dense with backstory and lore, and you don't even realize that that's what's happening. You're not finding yourself going back and rereading things because it's complicated. It just flows really well. And so, from a pacing perspective, this is one of the greatest examples of awesome pacing that I have seen. The artwork, there's not much to say here. It's so good. Fiona Staples is the artist, and she's done an amazing job at being complimentary. Nothing seems overdone. None of the artwork seems to overshadow the writing in any way, shape, or form. And it is just so refreshing to see. I would also call out that the covers for these series are absolutely amazing. They're very bold. They're using interesting, bright colors, and the subject matter is very clean and non-cluttered and just simple, but very, very effective. Okay, so overall, what do I think of the first 18 issues? I'm blown away. This is one of the best series that I have read. Again, I'm still early in the series. I know that have a long, long way to go here, but if I had to judge a book by its cover, so to speak, this is phenomenal. I absolutely cannot wait to get further into this story, and I'm just really, really excited and very, very happy that I'm in a position to where I can own the entire run. Now, there are a few things that I'm very curious about after these 18 issues. And so, if you're looking to avoid very specific spoilers, this might be a spot at which you want to kind of look away and watch this later. First and foremost, what are the dudes, well, the people, I guess I should say, that have TVs for heads? What is that all about? It's awesome. I love it. I just have no clue what's happening there, and I cannot wait to learn more. It's super interesting. When I was introduced to them in the issues, it made me think of like movies like The Fifth Element, just where all these characters are so cool and interesting, and I have to know more about them. Another thing that I'm super, super curious about is why the different factions are so interested in the fact that these two individuals have fallen in love. Like, why is it a problem? I think the obvious answer is that they probably both benefit from the war. These two people, maybe financially, maybe through power, it's, fueling things. And so maybe that's why. But if that is why, who cares about the baby? They both seem to want to have the baby alive, so that makes me think that there's something else going on here, specifically with Hazel, that we're not really sure of yet. So, just a few things that I am definitely curious about. I cannot wait to read more. I hope that you all have enjoyed this. Please let me know if there are things you would like to see differently. And certainly, if you have read issues 1 through 18, please chime in the comments. I would love to talk more about it. I really appreciate the support from you all. I can't wait to finish this series and share my review with everyone. Hope you have a great one. See you later.